Hey miners, today we're going to be going over the Flux AMA proof of useful work stream that they had today, and we're going to be covering some of the key points and some stuff that you guys may have missed if you missed this stream. So let's get right into it. I'm going to kind of move over some of the key points here in the video I think that are pretty good. Now, just to start off this video, they did also have some information in the beginning of the video with a little bit of what Project Mayhem is. So be sure to check that out. You guys could always check out the stream on the Flux Labs YouTube channel. Something that was really important, as well as they also were in Discord after the stream with Alex and Jeff Key, and we were able to ask some more questions, and there was quite a few, good questions asked. So one of the questions that was asked in the Discord, which relates to this is what the person asked was, they wanted to know more about the mining, how it worked, and essentially this is what Jeff Key said, which was really great. It's essentially like Hive OS and NiceHash, had just a great baby. As we see here in the stream here, it says mining Flux or mining other coins, and then switching to proof of useful work, or switching from the other coin, switching to proof of useful work, or on standby for proof of useful work. So this is great. If you guys think about this, what if Flux is making something similar to like NiceHash, right? Where it's going to auto profit switch you guys, right? And I don't know how the payouts and all that stuff's going to work, right? That's hasn't been announced yet, but if it's auto profit, like mining, like whatever's most profitable, and then getting you paid out in Flux or maybe some other coins, right? And then as well as, what if they also offer a feature similar to NiceHash where it auto tunes your cards for mining? This is huge news. This is to me gonna revolutionize how we mine today. This is amazing news. Not only are they're not even just concentrating on their own coin, just saying you have to mine Flux. They're even offering mining other coins, which I think is really great. Now, if we look at the pricing structure here, though, which it looks like, and this pricing structure to me, it looks like for the proof of useful work, which it states here based on task and configuration. So it's going to be dependent upon the job, as well as obviously your compute power, right? And then it's also going to reward you for a quality of service, as well as reward upon completion. So I'm sure the people who have great dependability in their score for keeping their uptime above a certain mark, possibly, to me, that's what the reward the quality of service is, because that just means that you're dependable and they can always depend on you because you're going to keep yours up. Like I said, guys, this is going to be essentially, and this might not be for everybody. You really need to take into account what you're doing, because hopefully people don't spend a lot of money that aren't able to offer a good, reliable service, right? Because if you're constantly going down, your power's going out, internet's going down, your rigs are unstable, you may not know what you're doing, right? If those things pertain, and let's say your proof of useful work score gets too low, they may not request you for as many jobs because you're unreliable, right? And then you're going to spend all this money on all this stuff. So that's something to take into account. If you lose power often or your internet is unstable, keep those things in mind, obviously. Now, as far as time, because people can use their personal PCs with this, right? They can also, they can use Windows 10 Pro, that they said, because that was a question that's asked later in the stream. You don't have to be on Windows 11. You can use Linux, but you could carve out particular resources as well as time of the day that you want to allocate for proof of useful work. So you could say you want to carve half your computer out for 8 hours, or while you're at home, and let's say you use it moderately, and then you want it to be 24/7 between the hours of 8 and 4 because you're gone at work, right? So you could set these parameters. So that's really, really great. They're giving full customizability over your resources, so that way you can maximize, your potential profits or earnings with proof of useful work. So which I think is great because it's including everybody in the full spectrum of things. So we're going to get into virtualization support. Your CPU and motherboard will need to be enabled these things in order to be able to participate. This is more pertaining to the consumer grade motherboards. So you will have to enable the VT-X and the VT-D. And obviously this is for virtualization. So this is a really key factor. Go into your, and if you're not sure where these are, they will be in your BIOS of your motherboard. So everybody's been asking this question, and everybody's wondering about PCIe lanes and what gen they need, and can we use this? Can we use that? Right? It's been a lot of speculation lately. Now these are just recommendations. Somebody did ask in the Discord if they could use like risers and stuff like that. No, you can't use the risers in like octominers because they're at an X1, and so because of that, right? You can't offer it. So if you're using a mining motherboard, if you're using an octominer, if you're using GPU risers, things like that, there's different kinds of risers. If you're using a ribbon riser, that's different because it can offer the full gen speed. I'm talking more like if you're using like gprisers.com or AAA risers, those won't work either, right? So here they break down to you that they recommend, and these are just recommendations by the team, right? So I'm sure that they've probably done a little bit of testing, and this is probably where people should start. Now you could obviously get Gen 4 and even up to Gen 5, right? Which is just being released right now, I believe, in the enterprise world. Now, obviously, it's going to depend on pretty much how much you want to spend, because you could buy servers, you could just use your computer at home, right? It's just, these are the things that they're recommending. So they recommend that the motherboard has PCIe Gen 3, as well as at least an X8 for the lanes, right? And that's just be able to, for so much throughput, whatever compute power that you're trying to offer, right? Now, they did say here that a minimum of 4 threads per GPU, right? And that's just probably just for compute power to handle the workload, right? Now, when it comes to RAM, they recommend that whatever the total VRAM is for, let's just say you have a 12 gigabyte 3060. So they recommend adding an additional 25% of the 3060. So that's 12 gigabytes. So it would be about, for the 25% increase, of about 15 gigs of RAM. Now, that's just the minimum recommended requirements to participate. So the minimum is going to be 25%. It is said right here, it is recommended to have RAM that is 4 times the amount of the VRAM. So if you have a 12 gigabyte card, you should have 48 gigs of RAM. So if you have 8 GPUs in this AI rig per se, you would need to take 48 times 8. You would need 384 gigabytes of RAM. So somebody asked a question about the pod system. So each pod will be specific to each workload. So depending upon the workload, they will deploy a specific pod on your machine or, computer, whatever, if you have a rig or your personal gaming PC. And then once obviously the work is complete, the pod will be removed. So obviously this is how they're going to control, the workflow and jobs, as they come on and off your AI rig or computer. So they also brought up another good key point in this section of the stream, whereas why the hard drive is a requirement, where it's sending back, it's going to take like a snapshot of the data and then send it back. This way that they're able to continue the proof of useful work if, per se, you had a blip in your internet, power outage went out, obviously. But I think that this is going to work similar to the nodes, as they're just stating right here, where this is we're getting into the realm, and I know everybody's going to want to participate, but this, you really have to consider this, is we're getting into the realm of enterprise level data center compute power, right? Where people want 99% time uptime, and it's very key. This is why like data centers and all that stuff have these SLAs and things like that to guarantee customer uptime, which is what which is something that Flux is going to have to offer, right? Is, good uptime. So if you do go down for an extended period of time, it will take a snapshot of the work and it will be sending it back. But what will happen is you're going to get out of that work, and then the next person in line is going to take your place. So you could be running this for, let's say, 3 weeks, and then you go down for 6 hours because there's a storm or something like that, or I don't know, right? You're going to lose your place in line. It's going to go to somebody else. So that's something to take into consideration. You could be running this machine for weeks, and you have an outage, and you could not be paid for anything. So that's something to consider very highly before getting into this. We're getting in the AI stuff. I think, like, I like that they want everyone to participate, but also people need to understand that this is getting to the advanced level of things, right? Where you need to guarantee that machine's uptime. It's very, very important. This is our first glance right here at the proof of useful work login page here, man. This is the first look that any of us have seen so far. I like this page, man. This is really great. This is amazing. It looks very clean, man. I'm getting more excited every day. So this is what it'll look like when we do see this come live. I can't wait for the benchmark to come out. I think it's going to be great. So why don't we take a look at that as well? So here we go, guys. This is the first peek at the Flux proof of useful work dashboard. This is really, really cool. So as we can see here, they do have a couple of AI rigs on here. You have this 4 RTX A6000. As you can see, it's actually going right now, because that's why the red is illuminated, right? And as we can see here too, you can see uptime up here is 125 days, as well as it's at a 99.2% reliability, as well as we can see that there's also a benchmark score here. So there's also, it looks like the X-perf, which is, I'm assuming, the same as the DL perf from vast.ai, right? It's their scoring, as well as there's also a 3D mark score here as well. And then we come over here and we could see the obvious estimated profitability, right? This is supposed to be making about 54 cents an hour, or 1.031 Flux. So I like how it's tied to Flux. I definitely like seeing that. We can also see over here on the left side of the dashboard is the mining, your rewards, settings, services. This is amazing, guys. This is our first glance at this dashboard. I think that they've done a really good job here, and I like how it's going to be able to be implemented across Windows. You know what I mean? So people on their home computers could load this in, or you could, obviously slice out and have a Linux machine, or you can have Linux VMs. And the way that they're approaching this to where everybody could just use this program and they don't have to go to a whole new operating system is amazing, right? It's ease of use, which is very key for something like this. You want to just be able to load something in and click a button and have it just work, right? Oh, and as we can see here too, because I know there's gonna be some people in here who don't like white. I like the white. I want it to blind my eyes when I see it. It'll wake me up. It looks like down here in the lower left-hand corner, there's also a dark mode for all you dark mode people out there. the advanced mode here, which is great. I really like all the detail that's brought down here. You can see how much RAM you're utilizing over here. You can see how much of your CPUs being utilized, GPUs being utilized, you know, the bandwidth on your SSDs and all of that stuff, as well as it'll break down your benchmarking scores right here, what your average is, what your best is. I mean, guys, this thing is looking so clean right now. I can't wait to take this thing for a test drive. Waiting very anxiously for that benchmarking utility to come out. So, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you guys think of proof of useful work and the ability to be able to mine either Flux or even other coins in your downtime, as well as switch to proof of useful work? This is really, to me, going to be huge, because this is going to make your rig like the most profitable rig it could possibly be, as well as also doing AI work, right? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. After today's stream with Flux, and seeing the dashboard and kind of seeing some of these other things, what are you guys' opinions? Are you guys in, or are you guys out? Are you guys going to be in? Are you guys doing proof of useful work, or are you guys just going to stay on the mining train? So I'll be curious to see what people say in the comments here. And as always, this is the Mining King giving you the most hashes, and I'll see you next time.